too windy, and but street art is. I'm a huge fan of it, and New York City is the capital for all of it, and so you're just constantly every new technique gets tried out here, and you can just walk around and get inspired relatively quickly.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty and the curse of it, right?
Oh yeah. You're always feeling guilty that you're not putting out more work because the train never stops, and somebody's just going to take your idea if you don't do it.
And sorry for those of you that might have been on YouTube. I think I might have had us muted.
Oh dear.
That entire time. But these are the kinks. Of course, this is just the second week of us going on air. I'm verifying with our listeners, and now it is working. Yeah, I clicked the damn screen, and somehow it clicked the speaker mute button when I switched my window.
How rude.
Sorry. In the open, you guys didn't miss much. We were just telling you how to catch the show, but you're listening to us, so obviously you know how to catch the show.
Yeah.
And YouTube is on now, and sorry about that. Okay, the other things we're going to get to. What else can we get? How was the commute over here?
It was so easy. It's always easy.
I'm going to turn on the air in here because it's getting sweaty.
I always try to do things at the odd scheduled time. I never try to do anything during rush hour. You come across the river in the middle of the day. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
And I just walk from 14th Street, which to all of you non-New Yorkers, 20 blocks is around a mile. So if you walk around, you can get a general sense of how much you have to go. But yeah, you just walk up, and we're right next to the Empire State Building, which I can see from my living room, so it's neat to see. I'm going over there, and off I go. But easy commute, not at all a problem. How was your commute? You really, it's more of a 20-foot walk.
The train, I don't know how people do that every day.
I don't.
Because I did it out to Queens to catch the U.S. Open on Tuesday. And especially when it's nasty like this, it's funny when you go inside the train and you actually feel relieved with their crappy AC that they have in the train.
Oh, yeah.
But
what's worse is
I don't know how people do it in this weather.
I had to do some job interviews once, and in the summertime, and in my naivete, thought I had to show up looking really professional. And so I'm, schwitzing like a crazy person on this
hog.
Yeah, like a whore in church.
Yeah.
And you can't take your jacket off because you have this just sweat stained shirt that I made the mistake of wearing a blue shirt, which of course you get anything near water on a blue shirt, it automatically looks the darkest navy. And I showed up looking like I'd picked a row of cotton, for 3 hours before showing up, just drenched and looking very professional, had sweat stains all over my resume, but got the job anyway. So yeah.
Well, what are they gonna do?
You want to find someone qualified? No. No.
I didn't know if that's what we were getting at.
Go with the tallest and most blonde example that shows up, and usually that's the winner.
So have you been keeping up on what's going on in sports at all?
Absolutely not. So I know that the U.S. Open is going on, and there's people who are out there playing tennis, and it's really hot.
There's that. Did you hear about this swimmer, Olympic champion swimmer, who was using the WAG app and came home to discover the dog sitter, a woman, along with two shirtless guys on his couch with lube and a video camera. And then she tried to play the whole thing off. Like, oh, no, the lube I had there because I had gotten my keys stuck somewhere.
Oh, sure.
Didn't explain really had you heard this story at all?
Where'd she get her keys stuck?
So this was Olympic swimmer Cleet Keller.
And WAG is, for clarification, a dog walker app for sourcing
which I will
people.
Steer away from after hearing this terrifying. This is the most horrific thing. I mean, you don't want people in your house doing crazy stuff. And then he came home and said he found bodily fluid here. I have some sound from the story here.
Springs homeowner warning others about a popular app.
Fox 21's Sarah Ferguson shows us the situation he walked into after scheduling the dog sitter.
The general smell in the house was just disgusting. I've had all the windows and doors open.
A smell he discovered after using the popular dog walking
Really
app
cummy.
Wag.
Oh, it's such a natural.
He came home around 1 a.m. and he noticed two men without their shirts on sitting on this couch. This is what he says he saw next.
There was an open bottle of personal lubricant and a camcorder on the end table. So it's pretty self-explanatory what was going on.
But to be completely honest, I didn't have WD-40 and my keys were stuck in my car, so I ended up grabbing what I had in my car.
She got
They was
gonorrhea
like,
from
I
a
did it in my
tractor
personal
ride as
time,
well.
And I didn't think to put it back in my car.
Cleet said.
Okay, here's really quickly before I continue with that.
No. Yeah.
Okay, so she's explaining the lube. Does she want to address the shirtless guys, the camera?
They had to lube themselves up to slide in the window because
Right.
she locked herself out.
That wasn't it, though. His sheets were also dirty, and as he looked closer,
There's also what I can only assume are bodily fluids on the couch.
I wouldn't know anything about that because I know that I took a shower at his house and I sat on the couch on a towel, and that was
Wait a minute. If you got to wag a person to come to your spot, do you want them using your shower?
This is such a ballsy move for someone to, perpetrate against an obvious celebrity. Because what is this guy, a Olympic level swimmer?
Yeah.
Probably is sponsored by whoever. And
Yeah, definitely got sponsorships.
So, this woman who, if she doesn't know who he is, probably knows who he is by walking around the house and seeing maybe a fucking medal on the wall,
Right.
and say, oh, perhaps this is somebody, if I Google them, might have some of a stake in this life. And so this sounds like Florida news to me, really.
It does.
Except in Florida, the pet would be, some kind of crazy python, and the real craziness.
There'd be a reptile
one
involved.
of my
the
friends
lube.
out there.
Cleet says his dog Jimbo was also locked in a bedroom, sitting in his own urine, acting terrified.
Oh,
It was
Jesus.
just a
Well, now
Terrified.
you can't know, but now you're not even taking out. I mean, not only are you would think if you're a pro at this and you're on WAG, and I'm sure there's some kind of vetting process
Yeah.
to be on there, and then you just forget about the dog as well.
Well,
At the very least, if all of this was going on, you'd think the dog's being taken care of.
total mess, and I can only imagine what
usually,
poor Jimbo saw in there.
yeah,
According
usually,
to WAG, this specific dog sitter had a rating of 4.96 out of 5 and had completed a combination of 305 walks and dog sittings. As far as her experience with Cleet, though, the sitter had this to say.
I'd like to apologize to him for making him feel like I violated his house because that wasn't my intention. I misinterpreted information and I had guests over when I shouldn't have.
I'm Sarah Ferguson reporting on the west side of Colorado Springs for Fox 21 Local News right now.
west side of Colorado Springs. Well, that's a heavy news day for them.
Oh my, poor Jimbo. Well, WAG also issued a statement regarding this particular matter, reading in part, quote, "We have launched an investigation into the incident and have suspended the sitter from our platform. The circumstances around this incident are unacceptable, and we expect everyone on our platform to conduct themselves in a professional manner."
Blah, 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 blah.
You don't like the PR statement?
I hate PR statements. I always hate PR statements.
I've written many of those in my day.
They're so disingenuous.
They're awful to write, too.
I'll bet. Particularly the worse the offense, the better. You
Yeah.
know? And it's, hearing them is like, it's like listening to the boilerplate German, comparison. So we're very sorry about all that nonsense that happened around, the mid 20th century. But I hope, going forward, we can all be on the same.
Yeah, if they only had
we can all get on the same page.
PR flex back in those days, right?
Yeah, and find synergy with the rest of the world. We could totally, make some money. What do you say? We got some great cars, Oy.
You're listening to the Press Box Party. Maybe you're watching it if you're on YouTube. We do have open phones, 917 477-7737. I'm guessing our live audience is low today because
They're loaded.
I hope they're probably loaded
They're
already.
loaded.
It's holiday weekend. Holiday weekend. What are your plans? Chris Blake Chappell is going to be working, he claims.
It's not real work, though, because I know, as all of you people with straight jobs would say, being an artist is not a real job. It sure is.
Oh, yeah. You're sweating
Sure
it out in there,
is.
buddy.
It is
I know.
in so many ways.
You are really, like, grinding.
It's the craziest job.
More so than anybody in an office.
Oh, God. These office
Sweat
people.
and tears and
I've worked
everything
in an
else.
office. I know what working
Yeah,
in an
you've been on
office
both
is.
sides, right?
Yeah. Well, the hardest thing in an office is dealing with all the personalities. Because the work itself usually isn't.
Well, that's one thing you don't have
know,
to get into.
It's not too challenging. Yeah. You don't have to worry about Faye,
the gossip.
Thinking, you're doing wrong by not having kids or something, and you're just
just an added element of,
well, my granddaughter says,
So you're telling me you don't like people. That's why you became an artist.
That's why I became an artist.
You found out you could just be, I can work alone.
They're remarkably interesting.
Not have to talk to anybody.
To study.
As you're on a talk show, by the way.
Yeah. But I'm not talking to anybody I can see, which I like.
That's where it gets dicey when you can see them.
If we had a screen that showed every single person and they were watching us as we were watching them, it would just overwhelm me. It's like giving a speech to a crowded room.
It's different.
It is different.
It is much different.
But it's fun.
Well, if you guys want to make this guy uncomfortable, call in, ask some questions. 917-477-7737. You are listening to Stream 35 Radio. You might be watching. Looking on the chat, let's see. Yeah, it's a quiet crowd today. Quiet crowd as far as for our live audience.
Everybody clocked out.
If you're catching us late, let's get to some of these stories. Let's just get right to this stuff.
Dive in.
The headline on this one, I'll put it up on the. Now I have the ability, actually. Did you know to put it up?
Multimedia.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I'm gonna share so now the viewers can actually see the mug shots.
Yeah. Oh, man.
What's going on here?
Florida.
Florida at its finest.
From Ocala, Florida. Oh, that's what.
There's the mug shots.
That's mid-dick, Florida.
As you could see, Florida couple built drive-through window at mobile home to sell drugs. Cops say.
Shameful.
William Parrish Jr. and
Mackenzie
Dobbs.
Look how she spells her name.
So these two carved out a window in their trailer.
Yeah.
Does it get any more Florida?
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, look at these people. These people look like they've been exposed to the sun too much. Like one of them drives a shitty hatchback.
You see how they even put up a closed sign?
Wow. How entrepreneurial.
They're supposed to be back at 7. Does that mean PM or AM?
Yeah. What do they sell?
I think they were selling. Let's see what we got here. Fentanyl.
Oh God.
Yep.
Of course.
And heroin.
Great.
And fentanyl laced heroin.
Florida's such a pill city.
But I'll tell you what,
state, whatever.
You can't beat that headline.
You can't. I mean, you can't
You
beat that.
cannot.
Look at those
headline
people.
And
I mean, he's got what? Shitty facial hair, receding short hair.
Looks like he's got some a gold grill in too.
Yeah, probably a gold grill. Really stupid white boy expression. Neck tattoos, multiple. She looks like she could suck the chrome off a trailer hitch. And probably has a similar mugshot for doing just that somewhere. She has that lovely Florida hair where it's got the blonde at the bottom and the natural roots that are about 8 inches long. So looks like the good times have come and gone and haven't been come back since.
No.
But look at her eyelashes. I'm a student of eyelashes, and I know good eyelashes and bad eyelashes, and those are eyelashes that look like they might drop off if they get the bad humidity. Man.
Very good breakdown of the mugshot.
They don't look like they give a fuck, though. They kind of have that kind of fatalistic, lower working class look of, I know I'm going to jail, whatever, fuck it. You know, shit. And you know, God bless him.
I'll try to get to my next story here. But
Yeah, what's the next story? Because honestly, I could talk about this couple for a while. Guy probably went to Full Sail.
Oh, Montgomery police. Why are you blasting on a Full Sail?
Because it's easy. It's low-hanging fruit.
Phone number 917-477-7737. For those of you listening on MixLR, you do know you can actually go to YouTube and stream us. We're putting up some graphics to some of the stories that we're covering. YouTube, just search Stream35, no space. Go to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and you can catch us there as well. Montgomery County Police in Washington, D.C. have said pedestrians that have been killed, they've got 7 pedestrian this summer, 7 pedestrians have been killed, and they say laziness is a key factor. Makes sense, right?
It sure does. How do they back that up? Laziness.
Yeah.
They take too long crossing the road, so they deserve to get hit.
Well, yeah, they don't make a move. Like if they see they just are slow on their
oh, that's funny.
Their reaction time, and a lot of people aren't very happy about this explanation.
That's funny because my girlfriend kind of does that. You know, she'll cross the street, you know, against traffic or whatever, and there'll be a car somewhat bearing down on her, and she won't
speed up.
She won't
like
speed up.
She's almost ready for the lawsuit.
Yeah, just very
It's kind of like playing the lawsuit.
It sure is.
But the only thing is, you might not make it to the lawsuit.
No. And so I'm always kind of pulling her a little bit, like, oh,
yeah,
they might not see us, and but yeah, I understand laziness though. That's how it's getting chalked up.
That's the thing.
Oh, this is tasteful.
Well, I was gonna make you guess with the next headline where it was coming from.
Yeah, I don't know. Is this? It looks American, but
it's not American.
It's not American.
No.
Is it? No.
So what we got here? Actually, I should put this on the screen. I didn't even think about that. Put this up on the screen.
Audio vis.
No, we have a call coming in.
Uh-oh.
This is a 202 number.
Shoot.
Where are you? Well, I guess that's what, Washington, D.C.?
I think so.
Let's go to D.C. Who we got on the phone?
It's Chris's sister.
No way. Oh, got off early because it's a holiday weekend, huh?
That's right. So I'm just texting while I'm driving, getting all these quote-unquote pedestrians out of my way.
Oh, geez.
How many have you taken out?
I mean, I don't drive so much as I careen, so I'm really not sure.
You treat it like a video game?
Chris, you need to video of me. I tried to watch that YouTube. Chris sent me the link.
Well, we screwed up, and it was we didn't turn.
It was muted, wasn't it?
On. Yeah. So now we turn.
Well, it's just super dark and depressing.
Dark and depressing.
Really? Actually, I could turn up the brightness. This is good feedback.
Subject matter or visually?
No, unless you're talking about us, there's nothing we could do there.
I know. It's a slow sports day. We can't help it.
So what else is going on? Is there something you wanted to touch on?
I just have some more topic ideas that you could ask Chris about to mine for stories.
Oh, lovely.
What would that? Give us one.
Hit the piñatas.
Give us one here. It's open phones today.
Did you know that at one point Chris was a Civil War impersonator?
It's not impersonator.
Reenactor. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So he definitely represented the Confederates, I'm assuming.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I mean, that's all. It was like...
That's not the point of the story?
No, is it?
No,
I don't know.
But it's very long. We went to this horrible, I guess it was like a meetup, but it was like for a battle. And it was outside of Atlanta, and it was this huge to-do because no one wanted to play the Union, and it was like yonder restaurants, and people were like bitching. It was awful. It was an awful experience.
And you didn't partake in this? Actually,
they didn't take women. But Chris was a drummer boy.
Yes, I was.
Interesting. This reminds me, and I don't know if you guys watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, but Larry David did a pretty good episode. I don't want to ruin it, but where one of his counterparts does this Civil War parody or whatever. You know, they mock it. And Larry, it's a great episode, by the way, on the newest season.
Really?
Yes. And the guy dresses up. This is what it reminds me of. So was this a tradition for Chris, or did he just do it once?
It was a one-time deal, and I think when we went to the reenacted battle, I think everyone just was like, we don't want to do this ever again.
It wasn't a
well, we have
one-time
on
deal.
the YouTube, we have graphics, so feel free to send pictures because I could
She
use
doesn't
it.
have any pictures.
No?
No, I have no pictures.
Ugh.
You know. But no, it wasn't a one-time deal, actually. It was a 3-time deal. We did it 3 times
No,
over.
I was just...
You
I was
maybe
just trying
went
to
once.
give our family a graceful exit to that story.
No,
but
no.
Repeat. All right.
Too late.
No, it's... Yeah, if you want to see our family gracefully exiting, well, I'll just text you. Stand by. But, yeah, what are you doing today?
Yeah, what's the plan for Labor Day? We're trying to figure out what our listeners are doing for Labor Day or the weekend.
Oh, you know, so my husband, we have a house in West Virginia, and he made the lovely mistake of he invited two of his friends, thinking one of them was going to bail.
Yeah.
And
this is classic married story.
We're going to have like 14 people in this house.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Moonshine
Yeah.
or no? It's not that kind of residence.
No. You know what? We went up to Vermont maybe in June, and the airport all around was like, it was all of these stories about how many people's lives had been ruined by opioids and heroin.
Jesus.
Yeah,
It was so depressing.
It's really bad. The state of Ohio has a huge problem.
Well, it's interesting because that ties in with our Florida couple because that's what they're selling.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I tuned in when you were talking about the roots.
Yeah. Well, they were selling fentanyl and
which is like the new
other pills. Well, what
dangerous.
What fentanyl is 20 times more powerful than morphine, and it developed out of the Second Iraq War as a means of delivering pain medication orally and topically to casualties. You know, in particular, there are these things called fentanyl lollipops, which, you know, say you just had an RPG take off your leg. You suck on a fentanyl lollipop for about 15 seconds, and you're feeling absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's the equivalent to getting a shot.
Yeah, but this has absolutely no, you know, place at all in consumer, consumption. You know, there's no need to allow the public access to trauma-level opioids just over the counter through a prescription, which is, of course, what Purdue Pharmaceuticals wants. So
I think they use it to like calm down angry elephants.
Yeah,
sounds about right.
I think it's also like a big thing.
Yeah, it's horrible, but it's what Prince died of. It's what you call it, Demi Lovato overdosed on, and it's so common that it's not even really. It's in its own category. It's not like cocaine or regular heroin. Most people think of heroin, they see it in the movies through a needle in your arm or whatever. But most people don't do heroin that way. They get it from a pill.
Or you see it like Intervention.
Yeah, they get it from a pill, and pills are crushed or snorted or taken. And this is the easiest way to take this, and as a result, it's completely undetectable by any I guess visual stimulant that say an employer could put in. They'll pop up on drug tests, sure, but if you're not drug tested at work, it's easy to see how this opioid crisis can blow out of proportion.
And the craziest thing about it usually starts with going to your doctor to get a painkiller for something.
Yeah, Ow,
I mean, if you're not,
Exactly.
my wisdom teeth, and then all of a sudden you're
Yeah.
you know, paying $30 for 150
Right.
pills from some scumbag in Walmart.
Yep. Scary stuff.
It is. I'm glad I never got into that. Like,
I'm glad you didn't either.
I'm glad we're all free of opioids.
So Chris's sister, could you tell us your first name, please? Because that's been a big mystery. Or if you'd rather not, we can keep going. Chris's sister.
We keep anonymity here.
We keep it Chris's
Chris's
sister.
sister.
All right.
All right.
That's fine. He only has one.
That's fine.
I just feel bad because I feel like it takes the spotlight off of you.
Yeah. It sure does.
We're here to promote Chris's art.
Despite
okay?
the fact that
Haven't heard the website been talked about?
Yeah, it's go ahead. I tried to
Website.
tell. I put his on the thing his Instagram,
Well,
but tell us the website.
Why don't you put the graphic on the screen too, Mr.
I will.
Mr.
I'll
Technology.
do it right now.
But if you're interested, Instagram, Chris Blake Chappell, last name Chappell. Now it's interesting because today I made a very special post where I posted the very first project that I'm making in the world of street art. As somebody who enjoys the work of Banksy and Pablo Picasso and any other mixed media guys, you know, I got the stencil bug. So I created a bunch of stencils. I walked around. I was in Newark yesterday recording an audiobook, and so walked around and took a bunch of pictures of street scenes. And so rather than actually physically put it on a piece of property, I go into the digital world and put it in there. And so then, you know, ultimately, what's the difference? So I did the first example. It's called Enough Is
So what should I go to here? We're on the website.
Oh yeah, you can anyone.
And I've got it up on the
got guitar
on the
sculptures.
If you're listening, go to the YouTube page. You could see preview what we're talking about. What should I go do? The sculpture?
Oh, click on the guitar sculptures.
Right.
Those are kind of the first
So here,
kind of example. But
I'll
yeah,
blow it up some so you guys could get an idea of some of his work.
But I smash electric guitars and build police riot shield bases and do all kinds of crazy stuff. I've got one coming that I did with Supreme, and because they did a collaboration with Fender Stratocaster, and so I got a hold of one of those, and we've got.
What's your favorite one here? I'll pull up.
Oh God, well, it's like a cross between Only Rock and Roll, Ritual, and Keith, which is Only Rock and Roll is my favorite version of the multi-band sticker riot shield.
Yeah, this one.
Ritual is the biggest guitar sculpture I've ever made, and also stands up on its own and incorporates 26 candles. And then Keith is this coffee table that made of steel and glass and a smashed guitar, and it looks cool. It's my personal coffee table, so I'm kind of hoping it doesn't sell too quickly.
And that's the one I've got up on the screen now. Chris's sister, have you bought any of his art?
I have been lucky to be a recipient of pieces of art.
There's a family discount that sometimes goes pretty deeply. So.
And you have some of it up at your place?
Yeah, we do. We have a giant Mega Man mosaic.
Okay.
And Chris did an awesome painting. Would you call is it painting or a drawing, Chris, for when I got married? It was so pretty.
Oh yeah, well that's actually the same kind of means as I'm creating my stencil. Is that I use Adobe Illustrator, and did that, and then you also have a T-Rex. Hopefully that's
Yeah. The cleaners are so scared of it because I told them it was solid gold.
Good. Oh, good.
I was like, we're really rich.
Really rich.
My husband never tipped you.
How do you think you stay rich?
That's right.
You think about giving money away?
That's like mom stealing all of the little shampoo bottles at the house. She's like, this is how the rich stay rich.
Yeah, every time I go home, it certainly does look like they've been to every high-end, hotel on the Eastern Seaboard and gone by the poor maid's cart, and just she probably
I know.
She goes in, cleans thing, comes out, everything's gone. It's because of Rick Montague.
Yeah.
He just wanders through and just gets a pillowcase full of it all. But thank goodness, because I take them from them.
So stencil stuff, are you like taking photos?
Well, here's
and then you put the stencil on with the computer?
That's correct.
That's what I was asking the same thing.
That's correct. And on Instagram, I was able to post on the same post 3 times. So I've got the picture of what the stencil looked like. Then I posted a little time lapse of me making it, you know, which is neat because Adobe, you know, takes kind of a time lapse of your entire creative experience and then boils it down into this thing where it's like 30 seconds long, but it shows how it was done. And then the third picture is me actually putting the stencil in the physical environment. And, you know, it's a lot less stressful and don't have to worry about the cops. But this could easily be replicated, which is what I'm going to be doing in the real world. So I'm going to be making real hand-painted and hand-signed versions of these suitable for framing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that...
Yeah. So merchandising opportunities coming down the pike, everybody. Christmas is coming.
Good job.
Thank you. And plus, it also takes a swipe at the Catholic Church because I recently rewatched the movie Spotlight, and that's where this inspiration came from, this particular work of art.
Yeah, how would this artwork fly in old Chattanooga?
Oh. Chattanooga.
I mean, the word artwork is very broad in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
What was it? Didn't Mom was saying when we were last in Chattanooga, she was like, oh, Chris and we went to this arts festival that they held on the pedestrian bridge, and it was very regional.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I know. It's regional. It's regional, you know, and so whenever I apply I've applied for the Four Bridges Art Festival myself and always get denied. So, you know, they're looking for a specific kind of artist with a very specific price point. And they want them all to kind of, you know, nobody wants to step on anybody's toes. You don't want to all of a sudden turn a corner and find a Banksy where they've got a picture of a Klansman.
Yeah, how do you know? That's one thing I know, but you could screw yourself out of a lot of money, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, I mean, you just got to throw a price out there.
Well, yeah.
How do you feel that out?
A lot of these people aren't represented, and so their price points don't necessarily dictate any reality.
I don't think anyone's represented.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people taking pictures of, like, signs that say "bless your heart."
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, or some very.
You know, we'll sell.
Yeah, very high.
And then once you sell something at a particular price that you agreed upon, let's say it's the first time you sold something in that category, when you have something similar to just make it more credible, and do you have to quote? Like, wouldn't it be the worst thing in the world if you got over on somebody for a piece and then sold a similar piece for like half of that? And then if that got out, wouldn't that be kind of shitty?
It depends on where they bought it, because that's the kind of thing. I'll give you an example. Most artists, if they get any kind of traction during their lifetime, if they came around any time prior to 2005, they had to go through the gallery system, which is, you know, kind of like the music business. You know, people who have bands, like artists, they need to reach a bigger audience, so they have to get discovered by people who have traction and these networks already in place. Now, before the internet existed, that was true. You know, you had to physically know somebody who believed in you and whatnot, and it was very regional and it was very specific, and you had to have a degree.
So word of mouth was huge.
Yeah. But then you had this guy named Damien Hirst come around, and he is an artist that got big in the 90s, but he's a British guy that you know him because he created that floating tiger shark in the vitrine. Okay, the physical impossibility of death in the mind of someone living is technically what it's called, but that's what it is. And what he did is that he worked out this system of going to auction with his artwork after he'd already built up an incredible buzz for himself, but was not represented by a gallery. So he was able to reap almost 100% of the profits from this auction, making him the world's richest living artist. Now, that is an incredible coincidence and bit of entrepreneurship for him to have that all at the right time. Now, it hasn't happened since for him, and people kind of got freaked out about that and have since tried to rein it in through the internet. But another example is a guy named David Che, who's a muralist. This guy, he made the interesting deal of saying, listen, I'll paint the mural of Facebook, but instead of paying me money, will you pay me in stock? And so now he's worth about $250 million.
Because he did that in the early days.
Yeah, and Sean Parker, who's one of the founders of Facebook, says one of the ugliest things he's ever seen in his life, and is embarrassed by how much they overpaid for it. And I've seen this mural. It's god awful.
They didn't really know what they were paying for it at the time.
Yeah, but it's weird. The art world is a strange place full of weird ways to make money, strange millionaires, very unconventional means of distribution, acknowledgement. Fame means something completely different in this world than it does in the real world. And that's what kind of attracts me to it, but it's also very, very...
It can deter you.
It can be very
sometimes.
confusing. Yeah, it's very... It's closed off to a lot of people just as a rule, because it takes a certain amount of money just to get in. And that's not saying you have to, pay whatever, but you actually have to buy art materials. You have to be able to say, I have a job that doesn't necessarily pay a lot of money because it doesn't work me too hard, so I can concentrate 100% of my, energy at this. And so it's a weird tightrope to walk, and the longer you do it, the more it seems that you're the only one doing it. Because I don't have any friends that are artists anymore, and everybody I know has gone off and done something else, and sticking with it in this is now, it feels better now. It doesn't feel as manic. It feels like finally you're in a place where you don't question your life. You can ride this wave, and that's what we're doing.
So see, Chris's sister, you should be his publicist, because
yes, I should.
The Chappell Family Therapy Hour.
He wouldn't, but no, he wouldn't have even talked about or dove in unless you brought it up. Chris, and then once again, the website is Chris Blake Chappell.
Yes.
.com.
Same as on Instagram.
So if you have some rich friends, send them the link.
We do actually. I think.
Oh, I'm not saying. I'm telling.
We have a couple. We have a couple. What?
People take credit cards too.
We take credit cards. We take Venmo. I've taken cash. If you show up, might even get a discount. So, I know.
So do you
Don't get the discount.
No discount. No family discount to the regular folks.
Maybe family discount.
No, but do you do a lot of art shows though?
No, I don't. I've never showed once, except
And why is that?
It just, honestly, it doesn't come up.
Yeah.
I never. The only art shows I ever see.
Is that because you're a sculptor though, rather than a painter?
Well, yeah.
Because if you painted pictures, you have to do the art.
It's
shows,
a lot easier to move those around. So logistically, nobody has to worry about if your wall is strong enough.
Yeah. Did you see this museum that they had the black hole?
Yeah.
And then somebody actually fell through it.
Anish Kapoor created the. It's like the.
We were talking about that on the last week.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, that's exactly what we were comparing it to.
Same thing too, and I always wanted one of those portable holes.
Did you hear about that, Chris's sister?
I feel like I read the headline.
Yeah, there was a black hole at an art museum. I can't remember where.
It was incredible.
And they had stanchions around it, like, "Hey, don't go near this thing.
Yeah, like,
you could fall through."
Hey, idiot.
But it did not look like it was done so well. I don't. What did they do?
Well, what it's done is that
explain that one to us.
There is a very.
I'll put it up on our.
Yeah, it's a very particular kind of technological paint that has been created, and Anish Kapoor got the exclusive artistic rights to it. And what it does is that it incorporates nanotechnology in that it reflects all of the neighboring black around it till it negates to the black point of zero. So what it does is that it is not like looking at something painted black. It's like looking into an abyss. And this dude fell into it.
I'm like, what kind of person is drawn to that?
Well, it's a neat idea,
Let me step closer.
It's a cool,
But how does the guy?
It's a cool idea, but
you don't sell this though.
You can.
How
sell
do you what?
this.
You got to go to someone's house and dig up the floor.
I have seen houses that people who buy conceptual art, they
I'm with
they
you,
believe
Chris'
it.
sister. This is ridiculous.
They do it. It's not ridiculous.
And there's I put up the picture
like
or the if you're on
who
YouTube.
would get in that and be like, oh my God, it's going to look so good on Instagram.
Well,
and somehow I feel, called to go in.
Well, here's
I hope
another
his name
thing,
was in the
though.
news article.
Because Anish Kapoor, though, is...
How do you make it look like an illusion, though?
Well, it's because that's the paint.
It's just
that's the paint. But the thing is that somebody would buy that or commission that because
isn't it
it's
more
Anish,
art if it isn't actually a hole?
It's Anish Kapoor.
And it looks like one.
Yeah.
This whole thing has really got me. I'd like to see some more of his work.
Well, sure. Well,
like
you have actually. If you've ever been to Chicago, you've seen Cloudgate.
That's him.
That's him. So
yeah. See, I don't keep up with the names and the
big stuff, technological materials. It's cool. It's cool. It's expensive.
So there's the black hole.
It's expensive. He always has to find a grant to make his stuff. I couldn't do it. But I can see somebody buying this paint though for the military.
It seems like nowadays that a lot of people are doing like pop-up galleries, right? Like
no, it's interesting.
It's weird.
You bring that up, yeah.
It feels like you have to. I don't know. Are people still? Is it still like cool to have the like wealthy benefactor / sugar daddy, mother, and
it's
still your pop-up?
Well, here the thing. I mean, the thing is that the patron artist system has been around since the Middle Ages, and so it's not there's nothing out of the ordinary about someone with wealth functioning as the proprietor of a factory of artists. Essentially, because Andy Warhol had plenty of socialites who would be like, oh, Andy, we love what you do. Here's $100,000 for you to buy spray paint. And that's fine. They wouldn't think anything of it. They just wanted to be around the magic in the center of the tempest. But no, there's plenty of people that try to make stuff through GoFundMe accounts, Kickstarter accounts. They'll, I've seen it with the dying of retail in New York City. Just going around in Soho, every third storefront is for rent. But pop-ups now are the thing because nobody wants to say, I'm going to make a store and this is going to be here for 10 years. It's like, no, I'm going to do it for 6 months. We're going to see if we can make any money. If it works out, we'll move it somewhere else. And I work for a company that has done that. I see it everywhere with every startup that's, a restaurant or some kind of food delivery. They'll have an aspect of it that's physical, but it's meant to be like an Instagrammable experience.
Since we're talking art, I'm going to pull something up. Chris's sister, I hope we're not keeping you too long. If you've got to bail, we understand. But
you want to cut me off?
No, I don't want to cut you off. I just wish you could see what I'm about to put on the screen right now.
I wish I
because could. This is
I wish I did.
This is an art / fashion thing that's taking place in New York City. Now that we're having, they're called skin implants. Have you heard of this, Chris's sister?
Oh my God, no, I'm part, so I'm gonna try to see if I can get on to see it.
Yeah,
Skin implant.
Yeah, I'm putting some of this stuff up on the screen right now.
This looks awful.
Yeah, it does.
It looks like you have some kind of coral that's flesh-colored and cartilage in material growing out of your body.
Oh, whoa.
It looks like a keloid.
Oh, there it is.
It looks like you're having keloids put on your
make
body.
This bigger so you guys can actually see. All right. This looks awful. You're right. And apparently,
is it on
guess who's making it popular?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You're probably on.
Guess who's making it popular?
Yeah, you'll never guess who's making it popular. But I'll scroll back down to the next stuff. So it's supposed to look like skin. It's not. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it looks like flesh. All right, anybody who's ever seen Game of Thrones, it looks like flesh-colored grayscale.
Yeah. So that, and then if you look at Kim Kardashian,
there she is.
She put up a video,
our favorite,
where it looks like her neck just basically has been sculpted into a necklace, and then you see how it's lighting up with it's somehow synced with her heartbeat. She claimed.
Exciting.
No, that's so weird. That's like alien shit.
I know. I mean,
And it's disgusting.
Someone's gonna figure out how to hack that.
Look at this thing this guy's got. You're right.
Cut off
Look
her
at this
head.
thing this guy's got on.
This guy thinks he's the shit. I bet he paid three grand for this fucking thing, and it looks like an old lady's vagina.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
It's like a roughly vagina.
He wrapped an old lady's vagina around his neck.
Victorian.
For my new feathers.
Oh, Chrissy, aren't you just? Oh,
You like
look.
it too?
No, I don't. I think you're just such a basic bitch, Chrissy, and I think you're
So
setting
that's what's going on
yet
here.
another thirst trap.
So now this is some new deal that is considered art.
I'm so sick of celebrity people. You know.
All right, but how they even got celebrities to jump onto this? I could see like
because they're morons. Because they're morons.
How
Celebrities
did
are
they-
morons.
This is that's what I'm more shocked about. Like this exists. That doesn't surprise me so much.
God.
The fact they got celebrities to jump onto this.
Celebrities are so stupid. They'll do anything. You'll get them to eat a Tide Pod if that really took off. I mean, you got them all running down a moving car with that Kiki bullshit. and
Well, as Jonathan Craig, who comes in here, comedian, that's called ghostwriting the whip, and that
Thank you, Urban Dictionary.
That stupidness has existed for over 10 years. Jumping out of a moving car.
Culture is so deep.
Yeah, I remember when I was in college, people were doing that.
My goodness, I didn't even have a car in college. I had to ghost. Actually,
Yes, you did.
Actually, I did, didn't I?
Yeah, you ghost rode a horse.
I was so poor at
Horse and
Kennedy
buggy.
didn't have a car.
I know.
Actually,
he's trying to live the artist quintessential.
I'm never
story
ever going
of-
to posit to
He's try-
anyone, that I'm any kind of starving artist. Okay,
There you go.
I'm not
The
living in a
starving
garret
artist.
or any kind of Basquiat.
I bet you were when you were at Full
situation.
Sail, because that place ain't cheap.
No, but I was living in this for 6 months in this really strange woman's spare bedroom, and
Oh God,
yeah. I mean, this woman was crazy. She also never believed in the air conditioning, and so every day I'd come home and be like 84 degrees in the house, and I'd turn it on, and she'd be like, "Chris, we monitor the air conditioning, like as if this will break her financially, if we lower it 2 degrees or whatever."
That's a tough thing to do, renting a room.
Oh my God.
Thankfully, I've never had to do that.
I said fuck it after 6 months. And
Now, I had
got an
friends that
apartment.
did that in L.A., and it'd always be some weird. I mean, you're renting a room; it's going to be weird. Am I right?
It
Or am I right?
is. It is. I've only had roommates once, and it was, it was uncomfortable at best.
only one.
Only once.
That
believe
says
it
a
or-
lot about your brother.
However, I have lived with a couple of women.
No, well, does it count?
That doesn't count.
Didn't you live in in an apartment in New York that had it was like all bunk
All right, I know what you're talking about.
It was all what? Bugs?
Okay, I was
bunk beds.
bunk
all right.
beds.
I was lured to New York City for my very first job to work as the sound guy for the ice skating rink at Bryant Park, which is quite possibly one of the best jobs I've ever had. It was
pretty chill.
It was great.
But sometimes you got to be out in the cold, though.
No, you're in a booth.
You're in?
You're in a booth.
Oh, you're in clothes.
Yo, it's
okay.
It's perfect. But anyway, so I was lured there by a friend of mine who was kind of an event planner, one of these people who wrangles talent, and it's like I gotta work this job. Do I have any friends that can help me and whatever? So I came up. So she kept sending out these, I guess, things like I need help, I need whatever. And people kept showing up over the 2 months that I was
Just
there.
off of random positions.
Yeah, and ultimately a 1-bedroom apartment was turned into a house that held 5 people. She, me, 2 other workers, and one of the skating rink dudes who she shacked up with during the Christmas season. And because it was like, how can this get any crowded? Oh, you start hooking up with this guy. So he's like all of a sudden
with a skating rink dude. Okay,
Skating rink
cuffing
dude.
season. Desperate.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That is so sad.
Yeah, and so, but the thing is that it was during Fashion Week, and so I was working the midnight to 8 a.m. shift, and everybody else was working the normal day shifts, and so nobody could ever.
They had a midnight to 8 a.m.?
Yeah, because
what would that entail?
It's a 24-hour thing, so I'm manning
the ice skating.
Yeah, no, this is Fashion Week at this point. This is Fashion Week at this point, so I am in a
I gotcha.
trailer on 6th Avenue, 20-degree weather, managing a table that distributes the walkie-talkies that the tent builders and the construction crew and the vendors and all these people need to communicate with all of each other, whatever. Keeping them charged, making sure who gets what. But when you came home, everybody's still asleep, so you have to shut the fuck. You can't just turn on the TV. You can't even say hi to anybody because everybody's still asleep. And then you ultimately fall asleep yourself, during which they then wake up and then go to work. And so the process repeats itself. So after 5 weeks of this, it is the most, I don't know, like, it was crazy. It was, it got to the point where you felt like it was a flop house. You felt like it was a flop house, and because nobody knew each other, and nobody could talk. Nobody socialized because it was Fashion Week. You're only there for 5 weeks. You never have a day off.
What an interesting group of
It's a nutty group.
People, too.
It is. But, yeah,
you could attract.
I did. But I didn't have any control over that because that wasn't my apartment. And believe me, it would have never gotten that out of control. But, yes, you were right. Alexis knows all.
All right, while we got your sister on the phone, there was one more thing that I definitely want to cover while you're on the phone.
Yeah.
So, cake sitting. Have you heard of this fad? It's here in New York City.
God.
I mean, New York City. God knows what y'all are doing.
Who knows what we're doing up here?
Is it a fad or a fetish? Because
in Soho,
that's right.
The picture they plant with it.
It is. It's been called a fetish.
Yes, frosting fetish.
Yep, where you have a woman come over with a thing of cake, and she lays down a tarp on a bed and sits on the cake, and people have been playing this. This lady that's doing it is killing it.
Man.
Yep.
A tarp though.
And then she crushes the cake.
It's the New York Post, so they didn't.
What?
Well, New York Post picked up the story. I mean, it's still happening. Like, if it weren't for the New York, you should be giving the New York Post credit. This thing would go on deaf ears.
Soho. That's
if it weren't for the.
That's why they do this.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it like fluffy? Do you put it like in your office chair?
No, she's on a bed with a tarp, like in the picture.
It's like one of these things where it's as weird as it's described. It's like people who dress up as Disney characters. Yeah,
I want to watch you sit on a cake.
I want to watch you sit on a cake, and that's exclusively what it is.
Depositories. I mean, doesn't that sound like the goal? I mean, is there underwear?
I mean, she's wearing like a sexy outfit, but it doesn't sound like she.
Probably.
Like dress pants.
Audiences definitely can't have the cake and eat it too. They can look but can't touch. That's a firm policy, it says. I've had people go face first into my butt, and that's not something I'm cool with. The cakes aren't only tantalizing treats on display. They're all about... Yeah, so I guess she wears a see-through bodysuit and stockings and, just rolls around on this cake. A Miami native has... she's crushed over 150 cakes under her garter belt, and she's performed at events including corporate parties.
Oh, of course.
All the way to sexual bondage gatherings.
Otherwise known as the GOP National Convention.
I think that could be any national convention. But, yeah, so there you have it. This is a new thing.
Like a flavor preference?
I'm sure you could choose your type of cake.
Do you get something inscribed on it?
It appears that she's willing
she destroys the cake.
Entertain any cake option. And no pies, it seems. This is a cake enterprise.
Cake only.
probably a pie gal in Queens or something.
Do they just throw out the food? Like, do they throw it out afterwards? Or is it, like,
Yeah, it's
is there a system of distribution to the homeless, perhaps, that this could...
Exactly.
You know.
Sounds like the cake is pretty
Yeah, how
ruined.
much poverty we have, and then
Yeah.
this bitch is sitting on cake.
I know. They're ruining cakes.
Ruining cakes. All right.
But to each their own. I one time saw at a football game during a tailgate, I think it was in Jacksonville, Florida, go figure. Guy jumped into an inflatable...
or it figures,
Sorry,
actually.
Sorry, Jacksonville.
That might be more.
Yeah. The guy actually jumped into an inflatable tub of mayonnaise. And they were having like mayonnaise diving competitions outside the stadium.
Well, that's just trying to go viral.
It did go viral.
I do the
with it.
same thing. That's a thirst trap for the Midwest. I've never seen this much mayonnaise. Yeah. I know.
Can like men get yeast infections?
We totally
I don't
can.
know what that.
We can get
Why
yeast
would you have
infection.
that anyway? Why wouldn't you have it?
Why wouldn't you?
It probably wasn't mayonnaise. It was probably that Durkees, right?
Oh,
Isn't that
God.
the, like, Southern?
Oh. Durkees. Only makes
Maybe he was doing it in Hellman's because that was the low class one, and you could use the Durkees.
There's a British rugby team that uses H&P sauce, and they just oh man,
I don't want to know what that
is. It's a British sauce. You put it on meat and like or bacon or whatever. I know about it because it's Keith Richards' favorite thing to eat with bacon and eggs. So there it is. Will you marry me? Says a cow.
Oh yeah, and then there was one other story,
One last
Chris's
one.
sister, a man proposed to his girlfriend using the side of a cow. So he actually, since this was somewhat artistic, I pulled this up.
That is great.
Because you said you're using spray paint, right?
Aye.
And this guy spray painted the side of a cow.
Yeah.
In blue.
And
Will you marry me?
It's Scottish too.
Yeah, it's Scott. I was gonna make her try to guess where it was. I was gonna tell her it was another country.
I already saw it.
Scotland,
But
Ireland.
He doesn't put a question mark though.
Oh well,
It wasn't even would you marry me?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the system works.
Yep, you're right. She's got to say no based on that premise.
But look at her ring. You know,
that ring was
because
kind of
the ring.
A little small.
I'm no
I was gonna
ring
put it up
expert.
on the thing, but
I'm no ring expert, but I have to say he should have tried a little harder with the ring. The ring was a little small and not.
Is it some twine?
It might have been twine. Would have been sweeter. This looks like an aggressively inexpensive purchase.
Now I got to put it up on the thing because you're caught up on it.
It looks almost like your blunt force trauma
These
cheap.
are enough, like working against her, okay? Because her whole engagement has gone viral. It's now we all know your story.
Yeah, I mean, the spray paint maybe costs more than the ring.
Who knows? She could be. She might be pretty proud about it.
Who knows?
No, the thing that tripped me out though. Yesterday we had a story where this lady
you can see the ring
had asked for her guests to, instead of a gift, just give her $1,500.
Yes.
To basically pay for the wedding
per person.
Per person, and then she completely snapped and broke up with the guy and canceled the wedding. Yeah, this was real, and she put it all on Facebook. Like, I can't believe you guys just wouldn't give me the money. And it just kept going. Like, I just wanted to have a Kardashian wedding. That was one of the things, amongst everything. But these Facebook posts went on forever, and she seriously could not figure out. Everyone's like, "You're crazy." She's like, "What are you talking about? How could she be so delusional?" All the way to the point where she continued to post it after, and then she said she was going backpacking in South America.
Sure.
To get away from everybody. But now the cow is up on the YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the cow, and it wasn't the best spray paint job.
No, it isn't, and it also.
Could they better use a stencil?
They could have. It would be. In fact, it looks like
old English.
It looks like a. In fact, I might steal this image and use
You
it
could.
as a stencil because
You
it looks
could.
so shitty. Because
Monetized.
Banksy does that thing where he'll put a graffiti, guerrilla graffiti artist as the subject.
Don't get
matter.
caught like Tesla did. with the unicorn that shits out cars.
If you're gonna steal
just
something,
stole that thing.
Steal something cool.
It doesn't matter. It's still theft. As an artist, you have to have a problem with that.
Yeah,
Did you hear that story, Chris' sister? Where somebody did a
Unicorn?
She probably does.
Yeah, so the guy one time drew up a unicorn, like shitting out cars, just on a birthday card or something, and he did it himself, very just like basic crayons and that sort of thing. And Tesla ended up using it on their Christmas card.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just blatant without even
Like
acknowledging the guy. And the way they reacted, to that was kind of bad too.
They always react badly. They're like,
Yeah.
"What, who, me? I don't know. Someone else did it, and then
No, like he would no. They came at him like Elon was like, "You should be honored. We used your art."
Yeah, I mean, right.
What?
For like company Christmas cards.
I'm so sick of Elon Musk and his circle jerk space bullshit.
Well, apparently they settled out of court, so.
Of course, for like
Good.
probably nothing. Be like, I
hope they got him.
I'll give you a ticket to Mars if you want. Sure. I don't know, Elon Musk.
You just hear about corporations or things like doing that. It's so much easier to search on the internet of where did an image come from, where
right.
was it supposed to be, that kind of thing. But too, like, all these companies have lawyers. Y'all have teams of lawyers who I'm assuming went to great schools. Like, how the hell did this get by them?
Yeah, but also with the team of lawyers comes a little bit of arrogance, I think, with the companies.
And a lot of those.
And they're just like, what are they going to do? Do they know who we are? And well, this little guy doesn't even have enough money to sue. You know what I mean?
Well, that's actually
so they take advantage of the
actually,
system.
20 grand.
That's closer to the truth.
Because to sue is, that's an expensive, especially if you're just a starving artist, as Chris said.
Well, another thing
how you
is
going to lawyer up?
Yeah, American copyright law is set up that unless
shouldn't you have like public protection or something?
Unless you defend your copyright, it can be quote unquote taken from you in a public sense. And
yeah, so it's basically like if you're the little person,
I mean,
you're going to get screwed.
Plenty of stories that come
if
across.
they know what they're doing.
Urban Outfitters loves to do this, where they'll steal, some Etsy
Really?
artist and they'll throw their slightly modified design on a T-shirt or
Really?
a towel or whatever. They do this at least 3
it's
times a
happened
year.
like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And it doesn't matter to them because it's like
it's
like
like an
Exxon.
expense. It's like an expense.
Yeah, it's like
like they have an account.
It's the
for
cost
that.
of doing
Oh,
business.
you caught her.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have a
shut
shut the little man up expense account.
And the funny thing is that they'd rather do it that way than find the artist
do it the right way
and be like, listen, this is an artist that we're collaborating with, like Supreme does or any other legitimate corporation. But no, they're just like, we're fine with getting caught. It's actually kind of fun, to see if we can get caught. So
yeah, they get to flex their muscles.
Yeah, and it's like all those times that the Gap or Forever 21 will make some crazy garment that is like the time they put the Nazi Star of David as a graphic on a children's T-shirt. As if.
What about H&M? Coolest monkey in the jungle with the.
Oh, coolest monkey in the jungle. That's a great one.
With the black kid.
Yeah.
How did that get through?
Another one is like one that has it's like Ghetto for Life or something as a part of it. And I mean, I grew up in a time when ghetto was an actual positively acknowledged adjective. Ghetto fabulous, ghetto superstar. All these things now. Ghetto is it's a taboo word, really, because everybody I think has had it with the hypocrisy of the reality of American superstructure of class and race, but nobody.
But I mean, people they had ghettos, hundreds of years ago. They were called ghettos.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, it's a real word and it's a real meaning. It's just unfortunately in America, it's been co-opted to mean exclusively the black experience.
Yeah, it's like the word thug.
Thug, exactly. Like Banksy
where it was
had
a common
in his very beginnings, would have the stencils of the rat, with thug life, ghetto life.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that anymore. And
yeah, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. It doesn't actually translate very well to to modern life, and so as a result, probably won't sell so much of those until maybe 100 years from now. You don't want to go over to somebody's house and see some black exploitation, artwork on the walls, and you're like,
looking forward.
It's funny how you have to think about all that. Yeah, what were you saying?
We had someone in our neighborhood. When you're just talking about stencils, I was just thinking, someone in our neighborhood. It's not spray paint. Seems like a new, more labor-intensive kind of, I don't know, stencil, because they power washed a stencil into the sidewalk, and it's everywhere. And it's all over our little neighborhood main street where there's like ice cream stores and restaurants and blah, blah, blah. And it says Ivanka is a cunt.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
It's everywhere.
You'll get
everywhere.
some of
and
these.
It's power wash.
You see a lot of them in New York.
Yeah, you'll get a lot of street artists that use, very incendiary words like rape or fuck, as a means of just shock value.
Yeah.
And I'm not really.
But the power washer.
It's not clever.
Like that to me, I mean, I don't, it seems like very thought out. Like I got to go to Home Depot. I got to wear the right socks.
Plus, a power washer is loud.
Does it seem?
Send me a picture of it, because I'd love to see that technique if it's any different than anything around here. I mean, subject matter aside, but
you have to find a hose. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they have. I haven't researched it.
Oh, I know what it is. Okay. You are looking at graffiti most likely that has been dispensed by a fire extinguisher. Now that's something that is new, but not that new, but it's something that when you see it, it's unmistakable because it looks like somebody just kind of let a fire hose of paint on a wall.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they
It's honestly, it's just a different color of gray and the cement.
Oh.
So
it's
bizarre.
they pressure washed into.
Pressure washed. That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting because it's a form of graffiti of removal, as opposed to addition. So they're just cleaning up a bit of the grime on the sidewalk with some.
It just so happens to be in.
So somebody probably thought they were doing something really helpful. They're like, "Oh, that's nice. They're cleaning up the sidewalk," and then, they're done in 15 minutes. And they move on. Oh, I've never seen that actually. So no, that is different.
Think about it, Chris.
Dude, that sounds like some rental equipment that I could schlep around Brooklyn. But another thing though, I bet if somebody really took the time, they could get some very crazy grayscales, with the intensity of in the dirt on, if you got a really dirty bunch of concrete, you could do a really well thought out, like if you used a pressure washer and an electric toothbrush and maybe a buffer or a drill, this could be elevated to crazy.
Sounds real involved.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is way more than the Ivanka artist intended, I'm sure, but it is.
I mean, and part of it, I guess, is also you want to be able to get the hell out of there.
Yeah. That's usually the case.
Someone comes on. I'm not sure with the electric toothbrush and the power washer.
No.
And all that.
No.
Just think it through is what I'm saying.
I'm going to think it through. I usually try not to. My medulla oblongata has got significantly bigger in the last few years, and being in a relationship with a loving woman kind of makes you temper the, let's test the NYPD's response time tonight. And so, you want to get home for dinner, and you don't want to necessarily go to jail. So, you test it. That's what this stencil thing on Instagram is. It's this testing out of what it would look like in public without screwing up anybody's building or, God forbid, looking like a bad artist. Which is more
Antoine,
worse.
I feel so rude. We haven't talked about you at all.
Oh.
I'm not. I'm not the one shelling out
the riddle of the
art
Sphinx here
on the on the website. But I will tell you this: I don't know if you're an NFL football fan, but
I don't know either. Alexis,
do
you watch football?
I do work for Sports USA Radio Network, and we broadcast college and NFL football games. Starting not this weekend, but next weekend, I will be in New England for the Houston Texans against the New England Patriots on September 9th, opening game. And you can find it on about 500 different stations across the nation.
Yeah.
Not to brag or anything.
For real. I know.
But that's the big thing.
It's pretty
and then there'll be some shows around NFL football, college football, with some of the broadcasters I work with on that. And
Pretty impressive.
yeah, that's right now the big thing happening. Football, as you know, in your neck of the woods, I don't know if you've ever gotten into it, college, pros, whatever, is a big thing.
You can't live without SEC football.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell no, man.
Now, as we're closing out the show here in a couple minutes, we got to have a little sports. So, out of the SEC, who did you take a liking to, if anybody, or do you hate all the SEC schools?
Well,
Or I don't even know if you went to one of them.
I went to, so my undergrad was at American, in which you're extremely lucky if any sporting event is on public access.
My sister did a semester at American.
Oh.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
And so I did my law degree at University of North Carolina, so I'm an ACC person. Although SEC, I mean, it dominates the South. However, I do have mixed feelings about the ACC suddenly opening our arms to Syracuse, which I'm still upset about. I know it's been a few years. But then we've also,
yeah, it really sucks for you're bringing up a huge point a sensitive point for me is football. I like college basketball more than I like college football, and college basketball suffers from college football pays the bills, and I get that, but that whole thing happened because of football. The Syracuse, you know what I mean? The Big East got completely dismantled, which was an awesome college basketball conference because college football pays the bills. So, yeah, I get what you're saying there. And having Syracuse in the ACC for basketball is so stupid.
It's
no history there.
Because then we lost Maryland, which was a guaranteed win.
It's funny. My brother-in-law went to UNC for undergrad. So I've got some UNC in the family.
Well,
but it's just awkward calling them a rival. I'm a Syracuse fan, did not go to Syracuse for basketball, and it just makes no sense, like Syracuse playing in the conference with Duke and Carolina.
I mean, they just dropped the whole coast thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're just going to pick up some random, we're going to get Iowa, welcome to the ACC.
Well, they're doing, Rutgers is in New Jersey, and they're in the Big Ten now. So there's just all kinds of stuff going on for football.
Well,
wow, so you actually do follow. You follow some college sports, though.
I do.
Jesus.
Well, so like,
Chris is shocked over it.
I don't know what the hell y'all are talking about.
In the South,
this is great, though.
A lot of people are not into the NFL because the SEC is life. So, plus when we were growing up, the Hawks really weren't so much just shake a stick at. But
I guess so.
I hate the Redskins.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't like the Redskins. And I grew up a Redskins fan, but you're not a Cowboys fan, or are you?
No, he didn't. What was that? Oh God, was it Jerry Jones? What was it? Is that the name? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, that's the Cowboys owner.
So I was in Dallas, and Chris, it was like kind of near where we used to live, but much fancier part. And I think one of his servant helpers was walking around.
Assistants.
Like a gardener. Yeah, and we were like marveling at how big his house was, and they were like, he bought 2 lots, and I was like, it's a double wide, double wide trailer for you Yankees.
Yeah, Jerry Jones
saw me and was like, no, how dare you?
Yeah, Jerry Jones is an Arkansas guy.
Oh, the Razorback.
Yep, he's from Arkansas and went to school there, so that's where his roots are.
An East Carolina, Arkansas football game. It was a bowl game because, now everybody and their brother has to have a goddamn bowl game. And the best part of it was because the halftime show, Chris, who is that guy who sings 2 tickets to paradise? Eddie Money.
Yeah,
That's
Eddie.
it.
Boom.
There we are.
Totally rushed the field. It was freezing. That was the best part of it. It was a terrible game and a total blowout.
Oh.
But yet, I follow college.
Chris
sports.
is completely shocked right now.
Flabbergasted.
Perplexed.
Nothing.
No words.
Nothing can express my impression of positivity though with your phone call. Please call every Friday.
Yeah, you can call any Friday you want.
And
as we're closing out the show
You
here.
can make on Larry Fedora.
Anything. We
The
might
evil,
even.
the
We'll send you a
unbelievable.
camera. You know, we
It's
can
like
have,
you were here.
Yeah. This is good.
Yeah, next time we'll Skype you in. Well, actually, she's very anonymous.
Oh yeah.
So
we
maybe
can blurb out. I can draw an approximation.
Yeah, like Unsolved Mystery.
Well, yeah. It'll be like on The Simpsons.
No.
It'll be like file photo, and it'll have Alexis just yelling at an elderly man in a judge outfit. It sounds like.
That's like my dream.
I'll do it.
Okay, well, I'll let you finish.
All right.
Thank you. I love you too. Have a good weekend.
Thanks for calling.
I love you too.
Mwah.
Thank you, Antoine.
You're welcome. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Okay,
Have
bye.
a good weekend. Bye.
Oh,
So Chris's sister shutting down the show.
that warms my heart.
Yeah, she should be in studio whenever she comes.
Jogging my memory as
I could
always.
see her saying, I don't want to go to New York.
Yeah.
If
yeah.
if DC pisses her off the way it does.
I know. Getting her here has been very
It's tough.
difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult. You have to have a real reason. But it's easy to get down there, so you know what we do. We get on the bus.
I know.
We go on the the West Jesus bus that it's like 11th Street right next to the dock. And it's like the last call for Philly and Washington DC. Yeah, they don't even let you get in a bus station. They pick you up on the curb.
I know. Don't be lazy.
Get in.
Get hit.
No.
All right. So you've been listening to episode 4 of the Press Box Party. For those that have been listening live, there will be another episode next week on Wednesday. And of course, there are some football shows upcoming too. So be sure to subscribe to Stream 35 on YouTube, and you can keep up with that. Also, you can follow us on mixlr.com/stream35radio. If you missed any of this show, it'll be housed on YouTube right after this is over, and it'll also be on MixLR on the show reels. So I got to say thanks to Chris Chappell. I got to say thanks to his sister. Everybody have a good and safe Labor Day weekend, and we will catch you guys next week. Football is here.
Oh, we're going to be live streaming Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy.
I'm going to be giving direct quotes, and we're going to be tossing the football on a balcony 7 stories above Manhattan.
All right.
We'll see you then.
We are out. Take care.